Hey there once again, y'all. It's Meteorologist Frank Strait here with a forecast overview for you here on Wednesday night. And as we get underway, clouds and some moisture has returned to North and South Carolina out ahead of this more substantial storm system that's out over the nation's midsection. And you can see a little swirl of clouds with the upper feature of northwestern Mexico. This has been a thorn in weather forecasters' side here for a few days. It hasn't been predicted, handled very well by the models, and that usually makes things challenging. It's been slower than the models have indicated they would be to move out of here, which is kind of a common problem with systems that get cut off from the main upper flow, the main jet stream, and get stuck over northwestern Mexico. But way out ahead of that, we've had the wind turn around to the southeast and pull in some Atlantic moisture, mostly low-level stuff. So it's mostly just clouds. There's been a little bit of light rain in some areas today, and kind of a wedge set up here over the Carolinas too. The clouds kind of helping out with that, with this warmer air coming in out of the south, riding up over the wedge of chillier air that's near the surface. And it has been pretty chilly here in Polk County where I live today. It's low 40s for highs at best, and a little what my mom calls misty moisty, a little drizzle at times. Through the afternoon, and some of y'all saw that as well. But the main excitement is for the next few days will be with this system as it slowly pushes eastward, and with this second trailing system that's coming into the Pacific Northwest. We'll be dealing with that toward the end of the holiday weekend. But in general, it looks like an unsettled setup for the next few days here, right through the weekend in general, although the hazards, while still there, will not be anywhere near what they were with the storm we're dealing with around Christmas. Nowhere near as much excitement, and no snow this time. It doesn't look as though it's going to be cold enough. All right, let's look at the upper air charts here. And here's the current time. This deep upper trough that's over Mexico was associated with this storm that's about to come through Texas and cause us some real excitement there over Texas and over to the lower Mississippi Valley. I'll talk about that a little bit. There is a front that's up over the Midwestern states that's supported by this system that's over the Great Lakes region right now. Now, advancing this forward in time, you can see this upper trough gets kicked out by this system that's coming in out of the Pacific Northwest, and it takes a track kind of to the north-northeast toward the Great Lakes, which is another difference with the models from days ago, which showed it showing a more eastward path. But anyway, that storm tracks toward the Great Lakes, pulls that front towards us, sends some moisture and excitement our way. There could be some gusty storms around New Year's Day as a result. And then that second trailing storm that's currently coming into the Pacific Northwest, that comes through the East Coast Saturday night through Sunday. And then behind that, the upper flow goes mostly west to east and results in a quiet period of weather, which is one thing the models have done fairly well with. And noticed about a week ago that once we got past this coming weekend that we'd have a quiet spell. It looks like next week, at least the first half of next week, we are going to see that quiet setup. So let's look at the surface pattern here. Again, looking at the GFS today, and this is Thursday evening. And at this point, the front that's now up over the Midwest should be through the northeastern part of the country and out over the Atlantic, trailing southwestward through Virginia and trying to come into North Carolina at this point, and then going into our strengthening storm system that's over eastern Texas at this point. That's where the excitement is for New Year's Day, the real excitement, or New Year's Eve rather, with some heavy snow falling on the backside of this and potential severe thunderstorms from East Texas over toward the Mississippi rivers. If you have travel plans that way, be prepared for some delays. By the way, that's there. That is what the Severe Storm Prediction Center's outlook looks like, and there's enhanced risk out for parts of Louisiana, far east Texas, and adjacent areas of Mississippi here. So some excitement there for sure if you happen to be heading that way. Be prepared for some delays. Now, as we go into the night here for New Year's night, at least for the Carolinas, high pressure off to the north will be sending some chilly air southward again. The day Thursday looks to be milder than Wednesday was across the Carolinas in general, but then the chilly air at least comes into North Carolina at night as that front shifts southward. Potentially wet over the eastern Carolinas with that, likely dry over the western Carolinas, although it's going to be cloudy, most likely. And there might be a little bit of mist here and there, too. But for the most part, if you are trying to go out and do some sort of celebrating, whatever you can scrounge together here, maybe with a small group of friends, it doesn't look like there's going to be any big problems, but damp and to wet over a good bit of the Carolinas. Now, going into New Year's Day, that's when things get more exciting for for us potentially as that cold front comes through. Again, the main storm tracking toward the Great Lakes. The snow goes with that, but the trailing front here comes into the Carolinas once again. Looks like warm air surges northward once again ahead of it, but chilly start to the day here for sure, and maybe chilly much of the day in the western Carolina, especially western North Carolina, as the rain just comes on through, and we keep a second wedge of chilly air in place. But looks to be fairly warm instead over the South Carolina Midlands, southeastern North Carolina, and South Carolina Low Country, PD region in South Carolina. And that's the reason why we're concerned for a little bit of severe weather as this cold front comes through. At this point, it doesn't look like a big deal. Whoops, that's tomorrow's outlook. This is the New Year's Day outlook, which shows a marginal risk for isolated damaging winds and maybe one or two tornadoes to deal with. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if they end up having to bump this up to level 2 slight risk over parts of Georgia and the low country of South Carolina, maybe the Midlands too. That looks like the best opportunity for severe weather there. But in general, it looks like soaking rain over the western Carolinas, and then the potential for those stronger storms later in the day and into the evening as that front pushes through. Now, it looks as though the front will get hung up over the Carolina coastline here as we head into Saturday, so be prepared for some more wet weather, especially as that second system starts coming eastward. Helps to pull some moisture northward. The doors will remain open for Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico moisture to come in, so it looks like we will see a second round of rain. The models are not exactly in the best agreement on how this is going to shake out in its complex weather pattern, so be prepared for things to be a little different than what it looks like it will happen here. But right now it looks like some rain, maybe some embedded thunderstorms for Saturday night into at least Sunday morning across the Carolina coastal areas, maybe getting back into the Piedmont. Might be a few showers around over the western Carolinas too, but the best moisture certainly will be farther east. And then going into Sunday, maybe a few showers lingering with the upper system coming toward the east coast here, and maybe popping up in the afternoon over parts of North Carolina. Likely all in the form of rain this time. Maybe high up in the mountains we could see a few wet snowflakes, but probably not much. But once we get rid of that system Sunday night, again, the first half of next week at least looks to be quiet with high pressure in charge. A little cooler again to start after that surge of warmth comes northward Saturday. It looks like Sunday it will probably be fairly warm over the eastern Carolinas and maybe the western Carolinas too. But early next week it gets cooler at first, back to more seasonal levels, and then maybe a little above average as we head toward the middle of next week with that high pressure hanging around and getting modified. Next chance of rain comes later next week. But again, a discombobulated system, it's probably not likely to be a whole lot of rain here. And even through next weekend, maybe no substantial rain at all until about a week from Monday when the GFS has a pretty good storm system coming through the eastern part of the country. Okay, that's it for your forecast overview tonight. Happy New Year, and here's hoping that 21 turns out to be a better year than 20 was.